Hi. And welcome to another edition of Autism Talks Radio. I am your host, Angela. Today we're going to be talking about dealing with death on the autism spectrum. When a loved one passes away, how do you explain this to the person that is on the autism spectrum? Be it a child or grown adult, because they do see the world differently. Now recently we've had my uncle, his funeral was yesterday, and we lost my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law early this morning. She had been found unresponsive and had no brain activity, and she continued to breathe on her own until early this morning. So I've had some talks with my two children. One has severe allergies and some other problems. And what child doesn't have some issues to deal with? That's why we have adult issues stemming from childhood. So my younger child had recovered from autism and is regressing again as puberty is arriving. Some children, after being recovered, quote unquote recovered, do regress back into autism in puberty, because the two most active times of a child's life for the cerebellum to develop are in infancy. It's really good to play that music to your tummy. I mean, I'm all for that. And then in puberty is another area where the cerebellum gets highly developed. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of against marijuana as a medical component for children that are going into puberty, because it really does more than just a number on their brain. It truly stops brain growth. But that's another issue. So I've talked to my youngest daughter. I set them down, when I was going to the hospital, and after I heard the news about what had happened and set them down, I said that, your aunt is in a very deep sleep. They found her asleep and she hasn't woken up. And it's difficult for her body. She's having seizures. My kids understand seizures. The youngest one has them. And we went to go see her. And it was hard to see. But I'm glad I did. Because for my youngest, she had to see it. She's very visual. A lot of autistic children are visual. They're conceptual. They think in concepts. Often they'll be numb. And this may be true of most children. No, but I have to tell her it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry or confused. Your kids really look to you for cues to see how to handle a situation like this that they've never been faced with before. It's okay for your autistic child to see you cry. It's not going to scare them. It's going to let them know this is what happens when you lose someone in the family or close to you. Talk about language, what it means when you say they passed over. Your child may not get that. Be very blunt. And I had talked to my youngest child yesterday that there was a possibility that she was going to go to heaven. I don't think I was as clear as I needed to be. So today when I talked to her, we had two talks today, that Aunt Kate had gone on to heaven. And I don't think she quite got it. Because later in the evening, after we had had dinner, fish sticks and macaroni, it's been one of those days. I didn't want to cook a lot. She goes, "You mean she's dead? She's not going to be around anymore?" I mean, it was really hitting her then. I said, "Yes, that is right. She'll no longer be at Christmas. She'll no longer be there at Thanksgiving. But she's up in heaven, that she had died." I had to use the word died quite a bit. So I think that's very important to be very blunt and use the word died. Dead. And I said, she talked about her grandson that was up in heaven, he's dead too. I said, and now they're together, and she's able to take really good care of him and play with him, and he doesn't hurt anymore, and your Aunt Kate's not hurting anymore. She's laughing. She's seeing her other family. Because I was trying to paint a picture. But she's not going to be here with us. That's what I said. She's not going to be here with us anymore. Now, my child's very visual. I think writing a story together, she paints a lot. So I'm going to see if she wants to do a picture story about her Aunt Kate. And that can help her make sense of what's happening. We've done this before, a lot of artwork. Or to get your anger out, we would throw paint on some parcel paper, what you would wrap a parcel paper in. And we would later use those artwork pieces for Christmas paper. We would wrap it up in Christmas gifts in this paper that they had made art on. We're going to have a fun time, a memory time tomorrow. And I think I'll do the artwork and let her talk a little bit if she feels up to it. What's your most favorite memory of it, of her? We spent a lot of time in hospital waiting rooms. My brother had a severe car accident where he had been hit by someone that was on a cell phone. So a lot of the memories with my sister-in-law are of that time. That's the time we got to know her, and it was too short. So writing a story together, painting a story, and there's lots of different ways to think about it. And please remember that children with autism are more often than not concrete thinkers. So if I can get anything over to you, just be very clear. Say he died, she died. A finite sentence, a declarative sentence, and explain what it means when someone dies. It means that you're not going to see them on Fridays, you're not going to see them on Sunday dinner, because children with autism, they rely on their schedules, and it's very upsetting for it to be changed. If this is someone that is part of your daily schedule, you have to be very careful in how to handle it. In transition, if someone's there for dinners, maybe you could get a picture of the person and place them at the table. I know that sounds odd, but it may bring some comfort to your child with autism. It's not going to be a painful reminder. It's going to be a reminder that that person is always with them, even if their body is not. I think it's a good way to look at it. Just a memory book. That's something like I was talking about with the art story. A memory book. It's pictures of the child and the person, in familiar environments. To make a scrapbook, a memory book, if you will, like I just said. Put pictures of the deceased person and the child, and then get a picture of the child in the same environment. Let's say it's the dinner table, and you have a picture of the deceased person at the dinner table. Then get a picture with your child and that person not at the dinner table. If you can find pictures that can do that, that can visually lock it in that it's okay. It's a transition. It's a really good transition. So, in children with autism, like I said, they think concretely. They tend to take things literally. So when I said that she was sleeping, like all this time she'd been sleeping, and then I said that she had gone on, that she passed over, I was not concrete enough, because she thought that she was still sleeping. That was what she surmised, that she was still sleeping. So I'm kind of horrified at that I didn't handle this well enough, but we don't often have to deal with this situation. And again, she has some traits of her autism coming back, so we're waiting to see another developmental pediatrician to see where we go from here. Do we go back to the therapy and things like that? Will this death, I'm wondering, the trauma dealing with the death, will she be able, like a regular child, be able to handle this and move on, or is this going to trigger a problem? Will she go silent again? So what about a loss of a loved one that's unexpected, like they're not ill with cancer, such as the case of my sister-in-law? This happened suddenly and unexpected. This is something my daughter's been doing. She's reacting by focusing more on her obsessive behavior. She loves Little Pet Shop and My Little Pony, and she likes drawing artwork on her computer, and I'm having a hard time keeping her in a normal schedule as far as it doesn't matter what time of the day I can find her on the computer. I'm to the point that I'm going to take the power plug from the desktop so that she will not run to that for comfort. Or is that okay? Is that okay for her to run to that for comfort? It's a stimming behavior. It's a stimming behavior. Just like any other child, she's trying to find a safe, familiar place in a support network. Because it's hard for her to really express how she feels to her friends, this is something she goes to, her artwork, So we're getting a lot of art paper out tomorrow. I have tons of it. I've learned over the years to keep a lot of creative materials around the house because it benefits her. And what benefits my child will benefit me. That's the way I look at it. And as they say, no two children on the spectrum are alike. These are just suggestions that may help. Now, I'm suspecting I'm going to have a stronger reaction from her in a month or 2 months, that it will hit her at certain things, like Easter dinner. Katie was supposed to be there, and she was not there. At different milestones, especially Thanksgiving, I expect this will be very difficult for my daughter. So, and it's true of regular children. They sometimes have a delayed response. Sometimes they're just numb. So what do we do at this point? How do we support people on the autism spectrum disorder? How do we handle grief? How can we help them? There's books out there. I have a book, When Grandmother Dies or Grandmother Passes On. I forget the title, but I've used it before, with a friend's child. So I know a lot of people are not a big fan of Autism Speaks, but they do have some resources for such a situation. And I think just because it's by someone that you don't like, if the information is good, you should use it. You should use it. And we need to be observant to see if there's any self-destructive behavior, self-injury. For a child on the autism spectrum may resort to this. My daughter was a headbanger. So I'm looking for traits like that to see if they surface, that she may use as a stimming behavior to deal with this trauma. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for listening. I hope this has been helpful. And until next time, we'll discuss further how to deal with death on the autism spectrum. As I learn more, I will share with you, and we can learn together and get through this. There's always hope. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for Autism Talks Radio.